Hey, you've heard of this Trump psychopath, Madison Cawthorn. He's a representative from North Carolina. Are you aware of this guy? I mean, his past. He's getting a lot of publicity lately because he's one of these My Pillow crazed people. For example, well, first of all, he's a liar. He's a Christian fascist. He makes shit up. If you think this patriot became partially paralyzed as from a war injury, no, you're wrong. The reason he's in a wheelchair, his legs were injured severely in a car crash during a spring break to Daytona Beach when he was younger. Now, there's more lies and bullshit. I'll get to it in a second. But the reason I bring this guy up, he most recently got a lot of attention because he's now a member of the so-called Sedition Caucus. The Sedition Caucus. These are the members of Congress, mostly in the House, all Christians, all fascists, who have no problem in advocating the overthrow of the Biden administration, i.e. the overthrow of the U.S. government, and replacing it with a brand of Christian fascism that would be horrific. This is Madison Cawthorn. He's part of that group now. And recently, I think it was last weekend, he held what he's calling a shadow cabinet meeting at the Orange Vomits Bedminster, New Jersey Golf Club. Yeah, I'm laughing, even though it's fairly serious. I just think, I had to call out an exterminator the other day. Behind our house, I'm not living in that apartment any longer. Behind our house, there's woods. There's a creek that wanders its way back through the woods. Across the road from our house is the Mercer University Forest. You can find it on a map. But behind our house, thick underbrush. It's a real jungle back there. We've only cleared so much of the property. And the other day I had a friend over who was helping me repair the fence. I call it a horse fence, although we don't have horses. There are no horses around, but we have coyotes. We have foxes. Occasionally in the area, there'll be a black bear and deer, 37 trillion deer. So a limb had fallen out of one of the trees, one of these huge oak trees in back, and taken out part of the fence. So a friend of mine came over, and we were going to nail the sections of horse fence back up against the fence post. And I went in the house for something. All of a sudden, I saw him take off like a bat out of hell, running up the hill. It's at the bottom of a hill, up the hill around to the front of the house. And I opened the door, and he had been stung about 8 or 9 times on his face and his arms with yellow jackets. And he said, "I'll be back." I said, "You need to go to the hospital, because if that would have been me, I would be dead." He said, no, I'll be okay. I'm going to go home and put this on it and put that on it and take some antihistamine. I'll be back. And he came back the next day. He was fine. But the yellow jackets that attacked him did so innocently. I mean, they were just doing what a yellow jacket does if you disturb the entry to their ground nest. But when I think about Bedminster or Mar-a-Lago and what goes on there now, and these are sedition holes. They're like nests of wasps, hornets. They're not wasps, hornets. Yellow jackets, hornets. And when I think about what goes on with people like Madison Cawthorn and the pillow guy and all the schmuck and filth and dreck and bullshit that hangs around Trump, plotting to overthrow the government, I just wish that I could somehow deliver to the next time they have a meeting one of those 100-pound clusters of hornets, yellow jackets, the ones that don't live underground. Just take this huge mass of insane yellow jackets and dump it into the middle of the meeting. I'm losing my mind, I think, I mean, when I think shit like that, it really shows something is starting to slip on its axis. You know what I'm saying? Inside my little pumpkin head, I swear to God. But, I'll be honest. I mean, I have thoughts like that. Oh, Jesus. I think the reason I'm talking about it is because this article I'm quoting from was by Mark Carlin, who writes for and is the originator of the website BuzzFlash. BuzzFlash. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Representative Cawthorn, this lying son of a bitch, has made himself a regular member of these House conspiracists, who might also be called, instead of the Sedition Caucus, you could call them the Slave Patrol, because they're enslaved by the sick bastard Donald Trump. Now, other people on the Slave Patrol are, the usual group of morons and half-wits: Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Q bitch from here in Georgia, Matt Gaetz, the child molester from Florida, Mo Brooks, Mo is short for moron, and Paul Gosar, who has been wandering around the wilderness for about 20 years now, doesn't even know what country he's in. But Cawthorn regularly rants against wearing masks as a means of trying to rein in the COVID virus. He also supports what he calls the Second Amendment remedy, to an alleged nasty federal government that he just doesn't like. And what makes him part of the Orange Vomit's favorite little inner circle now is that Cawthorn is an avid supporter of the big lie voter suppression and election subversion. Yep, that's him. Now, in regards to mask wearing, he made some remarks in the U.S. House. And in those remarks, he issued a veiled warning against the mask rule and against masks in general. This is part of what he said. Listen to the psychopathy in this crazy bastard. Quote, "How dare anyone in this institution attempt to dictate to the patriots on my staff how they may live their lives? What makes this nation special is that here, in this free land, the people are the royalty. So arrest us if you will, but I will not cower. I will not bend. You have come to take away our liberties, but Madam Speaker, in this country, you are outnumbered." End quote. You sick son of a bitch. Hyperbolic bullshit. This is in response to the proposed order by Speaker Pelosi that people who work in the U.S. House, the People's House, will be included in a mask mandate. Oh, no. Now, this crazy bastard, that maybe the last time you heard about him is when he tried to violate the House prohibition of carrying guns onto the House floor. Guns. He is such a gun freak that he tried to board an airplane in Asheville, North Carolina, a couple of months ago with a loaded gun. Now, obviously, he was stopped, and the Transportation Safety Administration people obliged him by unchambering the gun and holding it for him until his return. Now you try it, truth seeker. Load up your favorite Glock 9 or whatever you have, load it up, put it in your backpack, and go to an airport, any airport, even Asheville, North Carolina, which, by the way, is a liberal hotspot, kind of like Austin, Texas, don't you know? But try and see what happens to you. Do you think the TSA will oblige you by unchambering your weapon? Do you think they will say, well, Miss X, we'll just hold the gun for you till you come back. Now, you can go on your way. Bye-bye. No. That wouldn't happen. This bastard, Cawthorn, should be subject to federal and local charges for what he tried to do. But he's a Christian fascist, and they are special. As Mark points out, Cawthorn's lying and performative trumpery started early when he was on a spring break. He was in Daytona Beach. A friend was driving a car, and who knows if they were drunk. They probably were. The friend smashed into a bridge support. Now, Cawthorn, in his made-up biography, he claims that his friend abandoned him. But that version is contradicted by the friend's father, for example. And the fact is, his friend pulled him from the burning car and Cawthorn's lies are revealed in a Washington Post article back in February that was headlined, quote, "The Making of Madison Cawthorn, How Falsehoods Help Propel the Career of a New Pro-Trump Star of the Far Right," end quote. Indeed, this slimy son of a bitch even lied about being accepted into the United States Naval Academy. Remember that little lie that got blasted out and he had some bullshit excuse? So after his accident, Mr. Cawthorn attended a shithole known as Patrick Henry College. Now, that is an organization set up to groom Christian fascist leaders. Now, he only stayed there one semester, and his only known accomplishment at the college, first of all, was his D average. But he became widely known at this Christian fascist institution as a sexual predator. According to a Blue Ridge Public Radio report right before the November 2021 election, the report said this, quote, "A scathing public letter signed by more than 150 of Madison Cawthorn's former schoolmates at Patrick Henry College says that the Republican candidate engaged in, quote, sexually predatory behavior, end quote, vandalism, and lying as a student and is unfit for Congress or as a representative of the conservative Christian school." The letter, in the form of an online petition, was posted over the weekend by alumni who said they knew Cawthorn during the 2016-2017 academic year. He dropped out before the end of his second semester and didn't return. Now, this is just part of a pattern of what kind of human trash you have to be in order to be part of Donald Trump's inner circle. You have to be a liar, a sexual predator, a cheat, someone who makes shit up, someone who bows and scrapes before the orange-haired freak Donald Trump. You have to be willing to, you have absolutely no regard or respect for your family, your friends, no one. Numero uno in your life is Donald Trump. Numero duo is Jesus effing Christ. This is what you have to be. And Madison Cawthorn fits that profile perfectly. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity
But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.